Gonna say it. I said.
Okay.
She said the Queens has got lazy.
That's what.
And then Queen Pearl said on Tuesday, even the people are ashamed or stopped, because we were talking about it. Queen Pearl, you can comment your own self, but we were talking about Queen Pearl said she had 200 candidates come out with her. Queen Eve had 100 and something. This is the turnover that was happening in the 70s and 80s with the prophet and the queens. And now we have the churches, but still only 2 or 3 people. And because the workers have watered it down, we have watered it down, and the people are not going in the vineyard and bringing people in. Queen Pearl.
No, they're not official.
That's what I'm saying. They're not bringing people in. Queen Pearl, would you want to comment?
Yes, Prophet. You are right. A lot of our people, majority of our people, they act like they scared to talk to the people, to let the people know about their leader, about their teacher, about what's going on. You know, they're scared to mention the name of Black Jesus. You know, and that you cannot be afraid, or you cannot be ashamed of this God that you serve. I was listening to Meshach, and he was saying that you got to not only just talk it, you got to live it. Mm-hmm. You got to live, be recognized of who you are. The prophet 2 John word was, let my life that I live speak for me. Mm-hmm. Those things that you are doing, those things, the way that you are helping people, you know, we can't live in this world and just think of ourselves. Because we wasn't built upon that kind of foundation. Right. King Peter's word also was, stay on the post. Other word, if he gave you a job, if he gave you a position, you stay there and do what you're supposed to do. With that. Also to me, that I'm going to have to get on, King Peter was a miracle worker. Mm-hmm. To me. Mm-hmm. He worked many miracles in my life. Mm-hmm. I remember, I'm going to tell you this, I remember when the prophet 2 John, they dropped him in the army. And he had only been in there for maybe 6 months. And I went to King Peter one Friday night, and I say, prophet, I say, do you think that you can bring my husband home? You know what he said? He said, oh my God, he just got over there, didn't he? But he said that to me. But in a couple of months, after 2 John, I never forget it, it was King Peter anniversary in August. He came, they let him come home. And Queen Catherine told him, put your garment back on. And he did. They were getting ready to send Prophet 2 John to Vietnam. And she told him to put his garment back on. And then we had to go to a meeting with the army people. And King Peter said, go ahead on, I'll be with you. And you all know, when we got in that office, King Peter worked a miracle for me. He, all of a sudden, I began to look up on the wall, and I began to tell the people, I said, do y'all see all those people hanging up on that wall? Look at them, look at them. You know what that army man said? He told the prophet 2 John, he said, no, we don't need to send you to the army, to Vietnam. He said, you need to be here with your wife. And when we came out of the office, Prophet 2 John said, baby, are you all right? I said, what do you mean? He said, you were talking about bugs and things crawling up on the wall. I said, what? I didn't even know I was doing that myself, but it was the spirit of King Peter that was working with me. Mm-hmm. And you know, He didn't go to Vietnam. They sent him to Fort Sheridan. He came home every weekend. So to me, that was a mighty, mighty, mighty man.
Yes.
That had power beyond power.
Yes.
Well, Queen, I bear witness of many testimonies and things in my own life. What people don't understand is what we are charged to do. I think a lot of times you said it was a miracle in your life, and you know, everyone has to bear record of their own miracle event. But that was the uniqueness about the prophet. You know, when people try to complex it and make it beyond comprehension, you can bear record 99% when you went to the prophet or the queen.
Right.
It was a short conversation. You conveyed what your issue was, and then he say, "All right, I'll work on it," or "I'll get back with you," or the queen said, "I'll handle it." In class, she would work with people in class. She would
call it is a faith way. And we have to walk by faith. But it also says obedience is the great head of the church. And I'm not talking about obedience in bowing down to another person per se, but obeying the laws and the rules that was already set before us. Tonight I also want to go over a booklet entitled The Proverbs of King Peter. The Proverbs of King Peter, the universal king of the Coptic nation after the order of Melchizedek. Says these are the regulated phrases, statements, and proverbs spoken by King Peter Banks, 365 degrees, bless his name, that I have reached the degree of leader and teacher. I often reflect on the words of the prophet to guide, strengthen, and encourage me through life's challenges and uncertainties. I often heard the prophet say the name of his leader because there were times he didn't know what to do. These sayings and proverbs have been a comfort to me and my temple. I pray that they're the same for you. Although the phrases are short, if you meditate on them, they may inspire you through your challenges. Know that the prophet said many and much more, and you may have your own favorites. It is my prayer that these words be a blessing and the Spirit give you guidance and revelation. Written by the Royal Priest Meshach, November 2017. Is Priest Meshach on the line?